My husband left for a business trip and locked the front gate from the outside. As soon as his car disappeared around the corner, my stepson, who was supposed to be completely paralyzed, suddenly rose from his wheelchair and turned off the gas stove. He looked straight at me, his eyes alert, and whispered, "Don't scream. Dad is trying to burn us alive." Only moments earlier, the low hum of a black sedan in the driveway had been the sole sound breaking the quiet of our upscale neighborhood. Ethan, my husband, looked immaculate in his light blue dress shirt, not a wrinkle in sight. His expensive cologne, blending sandalwood and citrus, still lingered in the air, reinforcing the sense of safety I had grown used to. "Remember what I told you, Clara?" he said gently, brushing a loose strand of hair behind my ear. His hand was warm, his touch familiar and reassuring. "It's just a 3-day trip. Don't go anywhere. Leo's condition makes it impossible to take him out, and I won't feel at ease if you leave him alone." I nodded without hesitation. "Of course. I'll stay here with Leo. Drive safely." Ethan smiled, the same smile that had drawn me to him 2 years earlier, a wealthy, confident widower choosing an ordinary woman like me. He glanced toward the patio, where Leo sat motionless in his high-end wheelchair. My stepson was 10 years old, though his frail body looked closer to that of a much younger child. His head tilted slightly to one side, a thin line of drool resting on the towel at his collar. His eyes appeared empty, fixed on nothing. Doctors had said the brain damage was permanent, the result of a car accident 5 years earlier that had taken his biological mother's life. Leo was believed to be fully paralyzed, unable to speak, responding only through occasional blinks. "Take good care of him," Ethan said, his voice weighted with practiced sorrow. "He's all I have left of her." "Always," I replied honestly. "I love Leo like my own." Ethan kissed my forehead, lingering longer than usual, then got into his car. Before leaving, he rolled down the window. "I'm locking the main gate from the outside. There was a break-in reported nearby yesterday. The spare key is in my desk, but the lock sticks, so don't use it unless it's urgent. It helps me focus on work." Without waiting for a response, he drove off, stopping briefly to loop a heavy chain through the gate and secure it with a thick padlock. Then he was gone. The silence that followed felt heavy. The house, once comforting, suddenly seemed closed in. I told myself the unease was normal, just separation anxiety. I turned to Leo. "Let's go inside. It's getting hot." He didn't respond, his eyes still fixed on the locked gate. I wheeled him into the cool living room, the marble floor reflecting our figures, a young stepmother and a boy trapped in his own body. At 10 a.m., I followed the routine Ethan insisted on. I changed Leo, fed him his pureed meal, and read him a story. Ethan had always refused to hire a nurse, saying he valued privacy. Around 11, while reading The Tortoise and the Hare, I noticed a strange smell, faint, like rotten eggs mixed with lavender air freshener. I stopped and checked Leo's diaper out of habit, but it was clean. The odor seemed to come and go. When I checked the kitchen, everything looked normal. The stove was off, all knobs in place. I told myself I was imagining things, recalling how Ethan often joked that I was forgetful and overly anxious. I returned to the sofa and continued reading. 15 minutes later, a dull ache spread through my head and an overwhelming drowsiness set in. I looked at Leo. His hands, usually limp, were clenched tightly. I assumed it was a muscle spasm. "I'm going to get some water," I said, my voice hoarse. As I stood, the room tilted. My vision darkened with spots. The smell intensified, sharp, unmistakable. It was gas. Panic surged as I staggered toward the kitchen, aiming for the main valve beneath the stove. My hands shook as I opened the cabinet. A hissing sound escaped, followed by a rush of gas. The connection looked loose, clearly disturbed. I tried to reach the valve, but dizziness overwhelmed me. My legs gave out, and I collapsed onto the cold floor, struggling for air. As darkness closed in, I thought of Leo alone in the living room. I couldn't move, couldn't call out. Just before losing consciousness, I heard the sound of wheelchair wheels, then footsteps. Steady, purposeful. A shadow loomed over me. The hissing stopped. I forced my eyes open slightly. Leo stood there, fully upright, looking down at me with sharp, focused eyes. His posture was steady, his expression controlled. "Hold your breath, Mom," he whispered. "Dad didn't forget. He wants us dead today." Fresh air rushed in as windows opened. I coughed violently, pain flooding my chest, but I was alive. The room cleared quickly. Leo stood on a chair, adjusting the ceiling fan to full speed. He moved with precision, nothing like a child with severe paralysis. When he approached, his face was calm, serious. He handed me water. "Small sips," he said evenly. "Don't rush." His speech was clear, controlled. I stared at him in disbelief. "You can walk?" I whispered. He ignored the question, holding up the gas connector. "That can wait. This can't." He pointed out fresh scratches on the clamp and the missing safety seal. It was loosened deliberately. When I suggested it might have been an accident, Leo dismissed it. "Dad is meticulous. He doesn't make mistakes like this." Fear replaced confusion as he laid out the facts. The locked gate, sealed windows, the gas leak timed perfectly. "If you'd passed out and a spark went off," he said calmly, "this house would have exploded." Leo looked at me closely. "Everyone will believe it was an accident," he said. "A careless housewife who forgot to turn off the stove. Dad will come home, cry for the cameras, and then collect your life insurance, the one he increased just last month." I shook my head hard as tears started falling. Denial was the only thing I had left. "No, that can't be true. Ethan loves me. He's a good husband. He took care of you alone for years before me." Leo interrupted sharply, his voice tight with restrained anger. "He didn't take care of me, Mom. He imprisoned me." He stepped back, staring at his own feet. "I was never paralyzed by that accident. My legs were broken, but they healed completely a year after my real mother died. I knew that if I looked healthy, if I looked capable, I would end up like her." My voice dropped to a whisper. "What do you mean?" Leo's expression hardened. "My mother didn't die in a car accident. The brakes failed because the line was cut. I was in the back seat. I saw Dad under the car before we left. I lived. She didn't." He took a slow breath. "From that day on, I pretended to be helpless. A murderer doesn't feel threatened by someone who looks like a vegetable." I covered my mouth, shaking. The story sounded impossible, yet everything began to make sense. Ethan's controlling concern, his refusal to let me work, the quiet way he separated me from friends. Then my phone rang on the coffee table, breaking the moment. Leo snapped his head toward it. The caller ID showed my husband's name, now terrifying. Leo's face drained of color, but his eyes stayed sharp. He moved instantly, ran to his wheelchair, dropped into it, slouched, tilted his head, and let his mouth fall open. In seconds, he was the paralyzed boy again. "Answer it," he whispered without moving his lips. "Don't cry. Don't shake. If he suspects anything, he'll come back and finish it." The phone kept ringing. I picked it up, my hand unsteady. Leo blinked once, our signal. I answered. Ethan's voice came through, warm and calm. "Is everything okay? You sound out of breath." My heart raced. Leo sat motionless, but his eye watched me carefully. I lied quickly. I ran from the bathroom. I thought I heard glass break. It was just the neighbor's cat. There was a pause. "A cat?" Ethan asked. "I thought all the windows were locked. Did you open one?" "It was a trap," I responded carefully. "The latch must have been loose. The wind pushed it open a bit. I closed it." He replied slowly. "All right, get some rest and check the stove. I have a bad feeling, maybe a leak. You know your allergies affect your sense of smell." He was setting his excuse. "Everything's fine," I said, forcing calm. "Focus on work." We exchanged "I love you," and the call ended. The phone slipped from my hand. I sank to the floor, hugging my knees as silent tears finally came. "Stop crying, Mom," Leo said firmly. He lifted his head, wiped away the fake drool, and rolled closer. "He's disappointed you're still alive." I pushed his hand away, overwhelmed. "Stop it. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe the connector was old. Ethan is a good man. He saved me from poverty. He gave us everything." Leo snapped back, his voice echoing. "He rescued me because I had no one who would question my death. Why do you think he kept you isolated? Why did he hate you joining that book club? Why did he fire all the staff before marrying you?" I had no answer. His words reframed every excuse Ethan had ever given. What once sounded romantic now felt like confinement. "You're still denying it," Leo said, pulling a small black recorder from his pocket. He thought I was useless, so he spoke freely. He pressed play. Ethan's voice filled the room, discussing a $5 million insurance payout and gambling debts, calling me a gullible fool. My world collapsed. The house felt like it was closing in. My stomach turned as reality settled in. "He called me a fool," I whispered. Leo grabbed my hand. "He's wrong. You're not foolish. You're kind, and people like him exploit that." He checked the clock. We have another problem. He's suspicious. I asked how he could watch us from the highway. Leo pointed above a cabinet to a tiny reflective dot. A hidden camera. He installed it last week. My blood ran cold. Don't look at it, Leo warned. He's probably checking it now. Panic surged. What do we do? Leo's eyes sharpened. We act like you're dying slowly. He has to think he's winning. My phone buzzed with a message. The living room is dark. Is the power out? Turn on a lamp. I want to see Leo. Leo whispered. He disabled the infrared to trick you. Then he pulled at his shirt collar to make it messy. Mom slapped me, he said quietly. Then collapse on the sofa. Act confused and unstable from the gas. Do it now. My hand hovered, shaking as Leo braced himself. His eyes locked onto mine, filled with both urgency and a plea. Do it, Mom. Now, or we die, he whispered sharply. I shut my eyes, bit down until I tasted blood, and swung my hand. The crack of the slap cut through the room. My palm burned, but the pain in my chest was worse. Leo's head jerked to the side, his cheek flushing red. Instantly his expression shifted. His mouth opened and a broken, pitiful cry poured out. Tears, some real, some forced, ran down his face. He was the helpless, disabled child again. I followed his lead, using the lingering dizziness from the gas. I screamed wildly, letting fear and confusion spill out. Be quiet, Leo! Quiet! I shouted, clutching my head as I staggered in front of the cabinet, hiding the camera. My head hurts. It's because of you, because of this smell. I'm losing my mind. I threw myself onto the sofa, twisting and pounding the cushions. Ethan, help me. My head is going to explode. I rambled loudly enough for the microphone to catch it. After a few tense seconds, my phone buzzed. I grabbed it and read a new message. Sweetheart, what's wrong? I can see you on the camera. You're screaming. Are you sick? If you feel dizzy, lie down on the sofa and rest. Don't be angry with Leo. You're frightening him. And don't open the door. It's not safe. I'll come home as soon as I can. Traffic is bad. My hands shook. He had seen everything. Worse, he was telling me to sleep and stay inside, quietly encouraging me to keep breathing in whatever poison remained. Leo's crying faded as he watched me set the phone down. He gave me a quick signal with his eyes, glancing toward the hallway leading to the unused maid's bathroom. Out of view, he mouthed, "Safe." I nodded faintly, still acting unsteady. "I'm going to be sick," I groaned loudly. "Move, Leo." I staggered down the back corridor, out of the camera's sight. When I reached the small bathroom, Leo was already there, moving fast. We slipped inside, and he locked the door. In the cramped, musty room, the act ended. I slid down beside the tub, shaking silently as tears fell. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I'm so sorry I hit you." Leo didn't respond. He pulled a thin tablet from a hidden compartment in his wheelchair and began tapping rapidly. "Save your tears," he said flatly, his cheeks still red. "You'll need them later. Look." He pushed the screen toward me. "I've been accessing his cloud messages for a month. I suspected something, but today confirmed it. He forgot to disable syncing on this tablet." The screen showed a familiar messaging app, a conversation with a contact named Jessica. As I read, each line struck harder than the last. Messages detailed the loosened gas line, the locked house, the staged trip, the insurance payout, and plans for Europe. Then a photo appeared, a pregnancy test with 2 clear lines. My vision dimmed. 2 years of trust, devotion, and care repaid with betrayal and a plan to replace me. The grief hardened into something sharper. My breathing steadied. My tears stopped. "Mom," Leo said softly, uneasy at my silence. I looked at him. The fearful, obedient version of me was gone. "Can this tablet record video?" I asked calmly. He nodded. "Then record me," I said. "We're not dying today, and we're not running." My hands clenched. He wants fire. Fine, we'll give him one he won't forget. Stepping back into the house felt like entering hostile ground. The gas smell had faded, replaced by the weight of betrayal. Leo reminded me quietly to act weak and unfocused. I nodded and staggered to the sofa, messy hair, unfocused eyes. I collapsed just as my phone vibrated again. A video call. My stomach tightened. "Answer," Leo whispered, positioning himself behind me, back in his lifeless pose. I accepted the call. Ethan's face filled the screen, highway rushing behind him. He looked worried, convincingly so. "You look pale," he said urgently. I whimpered, letting my voice shake. "I feel awful, dizzy, sick." He asked about the gas. I murmured that everything was spinning and closed my eyes. "I just want to sleep." I caught the faint twitch of satisfaction at his mouth. "That's good," he said gently. Rest. Sleep on the sofa. Don't move. He glanced at Leo on screen. He missed lunch, I said weakly. It's fine, Ethan replied impatiently. He can wait. You're what matters. A real tear slid down my cheek. Okay, I whispered. I'll sleep. Good girl, he said. Sweet dreams. The call ended. The moment the screen went dark, I broke. I rushed to the sink, retching until bile burned my throat. My body shook as fear and revulsion overwhelmed me. I slid to the floor, hugging my knees. Leo rolled toward me. You can fall apart later, he said coolly. When he's in prison, get up. I looked at him, terrified. I'm scared. He's my husband. Leo answered without hesitation. He's a monster. He was already working on the tablet again. I'm tracking his car. He should be farther away. I wiped my mouth, forcing myself up. He believed me, right? Leo suddenly froze, staring at the screen. His face went pale. He turned the tablet toward me, showing a blinking dot on a map. Mom, he said quietly, he just took an exit. My chest tightened. He's coming back, Leo said. He knows something's wrong. 20 minutes. My heart raced. He won't use gas again, Leo added. He'll finish it himself. I swallowed hard. Then we have to run. We have to get out now, I said, panic rising. We can climb the back fence, scream for security. It's useless, Mom, Leo snapped, yanking me back. The nearest post is half a mile away. The back fence is 10 feet high with barbed wire. And the front gate, you forgot, he chained it shut. We're trapped. I rushed to the window, peering through the blinds. The thick iron chain coiled around the gate like a predator waiting for prey. So, we just give up and let him kill us? I asked, desperation in my voice. Leo's face hardened. The child was gone. A soldier remained. No, we don't run. We welcome him. He wheeled to the media console beneath the TV. Help me move this, Mom. Fast. I didn't hesitate. Together, we pushed the heavy cabinet aside, revealing a low ventilation grate. Pull it off, Leo commanded. I pried it free. Behind it was an old fishing tackle box, supposedly lost years ago. Leo opened it. Inside were tools he had secretly collected. A small hammer, a rusty box cutter, homemade chili pepper spray, and a black handheld stun gun. Where did you get this? I whispered. Dad's, he said. He bought it for self-defense, kept it in his car. I took it 6 months ago while he was drunk. He thinks it's lost at the car wash. The device crackled with electricity. Leo handed it to me. Take it, Mom. When he gets close, don't hesitate. Press it to his neck. Hold it until he drops. My hand trembled. But the memory of his texts and murderous plan erased my fear. Here's the plan, Leo said sharply. We can't confront him in the living room. The camera is there. We hide in the pantry under the stairs. Dark, cramped, out of sight. He'll check the feed, but he'll think I fell and you dragged me there. His strategy was bold, precise. We moved quickly. Leo tipped the empty wheelchair in front of the pantry, simulating a struggle, then slipped into the shadows with me. We crouched among canned goods. Minutes passed, silent except for the ticking clock. Then tires crunched on the driveway. The engine cut off. The gate chain clanged. He entered quietly, no honking, no calls. Clara, he called, flat, cold. The house was silent. His footsteps echoed across the marble floors. Tap, tap, tap. Shadows shifted under the kitchen island. Damn it, the smell is gone, he muttered. He approached the overturned wheelchair in front of the pantry door. I gripped the stun gun tightly, sweat trickling down my temples. Playing hide and seek, are we? He chuckled. Come out, Clara. Not enough gas, huh? A metallic clang drew my attention. Ethan held a tire iron, not his briefcase. He kicked Leo's wheelchair aside. Useless, crippled brat, he snarled. Come out, Daddy's got sleeping pills for you. Leo jabbed my ribs. I drew a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage. I rose, stun gun crackling. I'm right here, Ethan, I yelled. Ethan spun, shock widening his eyes. I lunged, pressing the stun gun to his neck. His body convulsed violently, the tire iron clattering to the floor. He collapsed. My hand shook, breath ragged. I'm sorry, honey, I whispered. Instinctive guilt from years of submission. Don't be sorry, do it again, Leo shouted. I aimed again, but Ethan's hand grabbed my ankle with steel strength. You bitch, he growled, yanking me down. My head hit the tile, the stun gun skittering away. He staggered toward me, reaching for my throat. Suddenly, a sharp, spicy spray hit his face. He shrieked, clawing at the burn. Leo stood, spraying the chili concoction repeatedly. Run, Mom. Upstairs now. I grabbed Leo's hand, adrenaline overriding pain, and we sprinted up the staircase. Behind us, Ethan roared, crashing into furniture, temporarily blinded. We reached the master bedroom, slammed and locked the heavy door, barricading it with a vanity table. Collapsing to the floor, I hugged my knees. The windows were barred. Our only escape was the door, beyond which a monster waited. "We're going to die, Leo," I whispered, panic rising. Leo approached, calm and resolute. "Are you giving up?" "We don't have any weapons left," I sobbed. He slapped my cheek, lightly, enough to shock me awake. "Look at me, Mom. Look at me." His eyes, young but filled with years of vengeance, met mine. "The whimpering Clara is dead. If you stay weak, we both die. That is not your husband anymore. That's a stranger who wants your money, who called you a gullible fool. Are you going to let him win? Let him burn us? No. Fear ends now. Fire begins." The cold fear in my chest ignited into a blazing resolve. The messages between Ethan and Jessica replayed in my mind. Clara is naive. She's a gullible fool. I wiped my tears, stood and faced the mirror. Messy hair, a forming bruise, a torn shirt. But my eyes were different. No longer soft, no longer the desperate, obedient Clara. I turned to Leo. "You're right. The old Clara died with that gas leak." I moved to the small wall safe hidden behind the landscape painting. "Leo, do you remember the code? Your father's wedding anniversary with your real mother?" He nodded, uncertain. 1508. I dialed it. Beep, beep, beep. Click. The door swung open. Inside was an old revolver and a box of bullets, a relic from Ethan's grandfather, kept for emergencies but never used. I picked up the cold metal, steadying my hands. He wants a war. We'll give him one. Then I smelled smoke, wood and fabric burning. Gray wisps seeped under the door. "Mom, he's not breaking the door," Leo whispered, voice tight. "He's setting the stairs on fire. The first floor, he's burning it." Ethan's crazed laughter came from below. "Come out or get baked. Your choice, you little rats." Heat radiated through the floorboards. Trapped on the second floor with a psychopath, I looked at Leo and then at the barred window. "Get the thick comforter from the closet. Soak it in the bathroom," I instructed. Leo emerged, waterlogged, dragging it behind him. "Use this, Mom. Cover your nose. Stay low. Clean air is near the floor." I nodded, gripping the revolver. "Leo, if I fail," he cupped my face. "You won't. Picture his face when he called you a fool. You're pulling the trigger to live, not kill." I inhaled, nodded firmly, and we moved to the door. On 3, we unlocked it. Smoke poured in like a black wave. "Down," Leo choked. We crawled along the floor, the hallway a pocket of hell, burning carpet, flames licking the wallpaper, cracking wood and shattering glass. But downstairs, it was silent. Ethan was waiting. We reached the railing. The first floor was gray smoke. Flames focused around the staircase and kitchen. I peeked through the balusters. Ethan stood below, butcher knife in hand, eyes fixed on the stairs, patient, waiting. "He's downstairs," I whispered. "Knife. We can't go down," Leo replied. The other windows were barred. His gaze scanned the ceiling. "Mom, the chandelier," he whispered grim. "We don't go down to fight him. We drop the ceiling on his head." The access point was a locked utility closet. "Key?" I asked. "No," Leo said. He pulled a small wire from his pocket. "I've picked every lock in this house since I was 8. Smoke thickened. My lungs burned. I kept the revolver aimed at Ethan through the railing. Click. The closet door opened. Inside, the chandelier's chain anchored to a steel bolt with a rusted nut. Leo needed a tool. I offered the gun's wooden grip. He shook his head. "You keep watch. If he sees me, shoot." He hammered with a small brass statue. Tang, tang, metal on metal. Ethan looked up. Well, redecorating before you die? Hiding in a closet?" His steps climbed the stairs. 1, 2, face scorched, swollen, grinning, knife glinting. Halfway up, 15 feet away, I had no choice. I stood, wet blanket cast aside, revolver raised. "Stop or I'll shoot," I screamed. Ethan laughed, dismissive. "You shoot me? That antique trigger's 10 pound. You'll break before a bullet comes out." He stepped closer. My hands shook. Doubt crept in. "Leo, hurry," I yelled. "It's loose." A crack echoed. The bolt snapped. The chain slackened. Above, the massive chandelier fell. Not directly on Ethan, but onto the staircase base. Glass shattered. Wood splintered. The weakened structure collapsed beneath him. He plunged into the fiery pit below. Silence, smoke, disbelief. "We did it," I gasped. "Not yet," Leo said. The fire spread up the hall. The staircase gone, second floor trapped, the flames closing in, windows barred, isolation complete, then glass shattering at the far balcony. "Police, don't move!" A voice rang authoritative. Relief was distant. Fear was immediate. Was this a real officer or another one of Ethan's men? The figure that jumped through the shattered balcony door wasn't in uniform. Black leather jacket, face mask, tactical rifle aimed at me. "Drop the weapon, ma'am. Don't shoot. She's with me. Backup's here." Leo's small, authoritative voice cut through the tension. I nearly dropped the gun. The man lowered his rifle slightly, eyes shifting from Leo to me. He held up a hand, showing a police badge on a chain. "Leo sent an SOS with a real-time location to our cybercrime unit 10 minutes ago," he said, voice muffled by the mask. "Drop the weapon? We're here to get you out." Relief washed over me so hard I almost collapsed. The antique revolver hit the floor. "This way. The ceiling's about to collapse," the officer commanded. He lifted Leo with one arm, pulled me with the other. We scrambled onto the balcony. Cold night air hit my face. Welcome after the inferno inside. Below the yard was a sea of red and blue lights. Fire trucks, police cars, ambulances. Sirens mixed with the roar of the flames. "Down the emergency ladder," the officer directed, pointing to a foldable ladder the fire department had set. My legs shook, but instinct carried me down. Paramedics rushed forward, wrapping Leo and me in thermal blankets. "Are you injured, ma'am?" a nurse asked. I shook my head, eyes fixed on my burning home, my dream house turned prison. Neighbors gathered behind police tape, their faces a mix of shock and horror. "Mrs. Miller, she's safe. Oh my God, what a fire. Where's her husband?" The question answered itself horrifyingly. Through the flames of the front door, a figure emerged. Crawling, dragging one leg, clothes charred, face blistered, Ethan. A zombie-like image, but alive. "Clara!" His scream was rage, not pain. Adrenaline ignored his injuries. He lunged toward me with the butcher knife, ignoring the dozen officers aiming at him. "You ruined everything. Insurance life. You cursed woman." Leo jumped from the ambulance bumper, walking through the police line to stand in front of me. Ethan froze, jaw dropping, knife wavering. You can walk?" he choked. "I can walk, Dad," Leo said, head held high, voice ringing. "I can run, talk, and record all your murder plots." He held up his tablet. Across the neighborhood, Ethan and Jessica's conversation boomed through the cybercrime unit's speakers. "Clara is naive. She won't suspect a thing." Neighbors' sympathy turned to revulsion. Ethan stumbled back, ashen, his secret exposed. For the first time, he pleaded, "Clara, honey, it was just a joke." I stepped forward. "Don't call me honey. The woman you married died in that fire. I'm the witness who will make sure you rot in prison." Ethan lunged one last time. A police warning shot rang out just as a massive kitchen gas explosion shook the house. He was thrown to the ground as the roof collapsed in flames. The house was gone. Ethan was apprehended, handcuffed, dragged away, defeated. I held Leo's hand. "It's over, Mom," he whispered. I hugged him tightly. "Yes, sweetie, it's over." But my eyes found a red sedan down the street. A woman in sunglasses, hand on her pregnant belly, Jessica. She saw everything, rolled up her window, and drove off. Ethan's karma was complete, but her reckoning was just beginning. 6 months later, the courtroom verdict rang out. Guilty on all counts of attempted murder, insurance fraud, and arson. Life without parole. Camera flashes illuminated his scarred, burnt face and permanent limp. The irony of his faked son's paralysis now mirrored in himself. He looked at me. I held his gaze with cold emptiness. Beside me, Leo sat tall, hand in mine, as the bailiffs led Ethan away. He rasped, "Clara, take care of Leo." I offered a merciless smile. "I always will. He's my son, not yours." From the opposite direction, Jessica was escorted in an orange jumpsuit, pregnant and defeated. "Mrs. Miller, please, this baby is innocent." I leaned close. "The baby is innocent, but the mother is a greedy monster. Enjoy your prison pregnancy. Karma never misses an address." Officers dragged her away in hysteria. A month later, a cool evening breeze swept our new home. Not a mansion, just a cozy single-story house in a quiet suburb. Leo chased our golden retriever puppy, laughing, pure and alive. "Mom, look! Bonnie caught the ball." I smiled, giving him a thumbs up. I retrieved a large envelope, birth certificate and court decree. Leo's last name was no longer Miller. He now bore my name. "As of today, you are officially my son. Just us." He hugged me tightly, sobbing, "Thank you for not dying. Thank you for saving me." A news alert buzzed. Inmate Ethan Miller found dead in his cell. Apparent suicide. No tears, no sadness, just closure. "Come inside, Leo. Bonnie's hungry and I'm making your favorite chicken soup. Lock the gate." He smiled wide, taking my hand. "You got it, Mom. No more broken locks." Together, we stepped into our bright, warm home, closing a dark past and starting a life truly ours.